if we care about cities, the real indicator of success is whether we can walk and bike around them. And that's why walking and cycling is at the heart of our vision for successful, livable cities. So over the next 10 years, we're spending well in excess of $1 billion on walking and cycling infrastructure. And we've made some big commitments. We're building the Sky Path to connect the northern suburbs across the Waitemata to our central city. The Sky Path and the Sea Path. And that's going to be an amazing addition to this regional network of walking and cycling pathways. And as that network takes shape and we add tributaries that bring people in from the surrounding neighbourhoods and communities into those networks, you're going to see even greater numbers using the cycling and walking pathways. And it makes sense. It makes our city more livable. It makes us healthier. It gives us a closer connection to the land and the water. And the economics stack up. And it's part of giving us in this city real transport choices so that we can choose to take public transport. We can choose to walk and cycle. And we don't have the only choice is spending hours sitting in traffic gridlock and on the motorways. And when we provide those real choices, then we can allow our city to grow. Because when the population grows in the city, when demand on the network increases, some people will choose to do those other things. A percentage of people will choose to leave the car in the garage, if they have a garage. And, and they will walk, they will bike, they will take the train, the ferry and the bus. Some people will, and that means the roads will be freer for people who have to drive. And the faster and more efficient our public transport system is, the faster and efficient the roads will be too. So folks, thanks for coming out this morning. I'm going to leave it to Julianne to talk more about walking and cycling and about this project. But to see everybody here, all of the different groups, the local community, the transport advocates, the elected representatives, gives me great hope for the future of our city. We are doing something very special here. Thank you.
As Minister Twyford spoke of, for about 50 years, we planned everything around cars, and what do we get? A lot of traffic congestion. And what's worse, our children haven't had that ability to be independent, to get around on their own steam without being threatened by dangerous traffic. And as a mother, and I know there are mothers here, the last thing you want is for your child to be on their way to school on their own and to be hit by a car. And yet, we also don't want our kids to be trapped in the back seat of cars, a passenger not able to become independent, to go meet up with their friends, to get that physical activity that is so good for their physical and mental well-being, that helps them learn. And so for me, this walking and cycling infrastructure is an absolute basic right that citizens should have to be able to walk and cycle safely. And it will take a little bit of time to get it all in place, but I'm happy to say that we are well on our way and we need to go further and faster if we are truly going to enable our youngest residents to have the type of freedom that is their birthright. So just incredibly pleased to be here this morning. I definitely recommend, if you haven't been on Section 1 or Section 3, go check it out. But I can't wait to ride the whole thing. Kia ora koutou.
To be here today to celebrate this great 7-kilometre shared pathway from Glen Innes all the way through to Tāmaki Drive is just fantastic. Can I acknowledge our two ministers, Phil Twyford, Julianne Genter. Julianne, she walks the talk. Well, she cycles the cycleway. One or other things. To my two colleagues, Desley Simpson and Paul Young. Great to have you here, and Desley, thank you for the great job that you've just done on our budget as Chair of the Finance and Performance Committee. To all of your community that's here today, it's great to see the turnout. And I know during the election campaigns, when I go around the city, and I did, I think, 42 public meetings with my opponent last time. That's called purgatory to get to heaven. If being mayor is heaven, I'm not quite sure sometimes. But the biggest turnouts were always in Ōrākei. And, you know, to acknowledge all of the members. I think we've got all of, where's Scott? Down there. I think we've got all of the members of your board here, so I should, obviously Scott, acknowledging you and thank you for your positive contribution, but also Sarah Powry, the two Troys, Chert and Elliot, and Colin Davis. Colin, you're down there. I won't mention the jokes we had before this meeting. And to David Wong and Margaret Voice, to the members of the the New Zealand Transport Agency, Victoria and Patrick, that are here, to Auckland Transport, and we've got Adrian Young-Cooper, and we've got Shane Ellison. To everybody that's come together for this project, it's just fantastic. You know, I think one of the best things about it is that when we've got this open, you'll be walking and cycling down a pathway with clean air, some of the best views in Auckland, and you'll be safe. And all of those things are important. I ride an electric bike sometimes, I ride a motorbike at other times, and I know in either mode of transportation, when I'm on the main roads, there is a great sense of insecurity because people just don't see you. And to create a network of shared pathways around the city is going to be something really important for the future. You know, we're investing a lot of money in this, over $100 million for the 7 kilometres. But that shared pathway will be there forever. Could have been a motorway, you know. Could have been a motorway.
Who would have done that?
Back in the days of the dinosaurs, and I won't mention who was mayor at the time. But this will be a great asset. It'll be an even greater asset because it will connect up with those other networks. You'll be able to bike all the way to the shore on the Sky Path and the Sea Path. You'll be able to bike to lobby the Minster in Te Atatu because you'll join up with the Northwestern Cycleway and pretty soon the faux cycleway that we announced. 4 of us were there just a week ago. So this is a great thing for the future of the city. And I want to acknowledge actually all of the contributions that were made. When we opened the first stage, I did that with Desley, but also with Simon Bridges, who was then the Minister of Transport. And that was the start of it. I mean, I had a lot of disagreements with John Key, particularly when I was leader of the opposition, but one thing that you have to admire that he did was the cycleway program, and I want to acknowledge that. That was really important. So we're creating a situation where people can go from Glen Innes all the way into town and beyond. We're talking about people that will be able to commute to work by cycle. You'll be talking about people that can walk. You'll be talking about people using it recreationally and for exercise. And this is the way of the future, because when we hit 2 million people, which we'll do in about a decade, you simply can't build more swathes of motorways through a city and wipe out housing.
Ōrākei board, because I tell you what, we've been advocating for this project forever. So come on, local board, everyone. Mana whenua, kia ora, thank you. We couldn't do it without you, Ngāti Whānau, you know that. Bike Auckland members, Gen Zero, fantastic. Members of the public, our community. Oh my goodness, this is such a fantastic day. And I tell you what, I'll tell you how long it's been going for. Barb, welcome to you too. Over here, stage 3, Len Brown. Stage 1, Phil Goff. Stage 2 is in red. It's ironic it's in red, and I just want to say it's in red because actually in the main it's being funded by central government. Of course it's a partnership, but we're a bit cash strapped at the moment, you might have heard. It's an emergency budget, and I just want to acknowledge actually you are the major funder of this particular section. It is a joint project, but as our cash flow is a bit, you know, not so hot at the moment, they're picking up the bill. So
that's what friends do.
That's right, that's right. So I want to acknowledge that partnership without a doubt. Look, I just want to talk about something that's a little bit different. Over here, we have Selwyn College. It's the only state school this side of the ridge, right? In 2015, it was given a designation, you know, by the Ministry of Education, a circle, you know, catchment area. Because it didn't have one before that. And alongside that, St Thomas's School, which is about 50 metres on the other side of the road, down the road, their catchment was extended as well. And it was right over here to Meadowbank and St John's. Now, the interesting thing, for children to get from here to there, there's a railway line, there's water, and there's bush. So how do you get to school? You've got to go all the way up here, all the way along the road, and all the way to school. And not only is it any old road, but it's actually an arterial route. And that means we have the lovely Ports of Auckland trucks that come along that road multiple times a day, big container trucks. Is it safe? No. Can the children walk to school safely? No. Can they cycle to school safely? No, they can't. So this particular link that comes through is so vital, but what will make it really vital are the connection links, won't it, community? In fact, so the zone was done in 2015. In 2016, when NZTA's notice of requirement was looked at with commissioners for this particular section, all right, it said, and I'm going to quote because I'll get it wrong. It said that it was, the hearing report actually says, the commissioners endorse the point of local connections and strongly recommends the requiring authority to assist in the funding of the linkages across the valley. Did anyone hear that, Scott?
Yeah.
Auckland Transport, did you hear that? Victoria, did you hear that? Okay, just making sure, because actually what will make this project really good. I mean, this is kind of, I know motorway is a dirty word, but it's almost a cycling motorway, and motorways don't work well unless you've got connections, all right? So my push is that those connections are done concurrently, so our children will be able to get to school safely without even touching a road. Because I firmly believe, Minister, if you want to teach kids the importance of walking and cycling, they have to do it when they're young. Teach them young, and they'll do it forever. And this will provide this community the opportunity to get to school forever without going near a road. And that's good for Auckland, that's good for children, that's good for our future. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm between you and a spade, so let's get going. Thank you.